All right, kids, we are back, and you are looking at Dr. Harris Ambush. He is known to the kids that he works with as Mr. Harris. How you doing, Harris?
Doing great. Enjoying it. Beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Kids, I want you to know I got to know this man when he was your age. When he came to my soccer camp when he was a little kid, and there was a real good soccer player and strong soccer player. You guys know his brother also, David Ambush, who came to school. He's been to our school, Harris, about
Yeah.
2 or 3 times, and I'm sure he'll be out again.
Right.
So I asked Dr. Harris to talk with us, or Mr. Harris to talk with us, because I wanted you guys to meet him and I wanted you to hear what he had to say. Could you tell us about yourself?
Sure. Yeah. I actually was born and raised in St. Petersburg. Grew up. I'm the youngest of three, and my sister was big into art and theater, and my brother was big into sports. So I got a little bit of both on those ends. I was the younger one. Parents were really involved in trying to help us learn and create a really important network of family. As I grew a little bit older, I went to five different schools in elementary school. From kindergarten through fifth grade, I went to five different schools.
Wow.
So I had to be the new kid a lot. Um, and thankfully, sports and movement helped me because it connected me to other people in a lot of different ways. So that in my elementary years, like all of you guys are in, really helped me to kind of get to know people in another way. When I went into middle school and high school, I started to pick a specific sport, and I moved into soccer and accelerated into that. I went away to college. I studied business and education, and then I moved into education because I feel like education connects everything. Everything you do, if you all of you kids think about it, um, if you think about business, if you think about politics, everything involves education. So that's kind of the great unifier.
Wow, that's so cool. Now, what made you decide to continue your education all the way through to getting a doctorate degree?
Well, Coach, my full belief is education never stops. Learning never stops. While we may be learning at home, um, learning is something you can do for your whole life. So I was really fortunate to find a program that helped. The doctorate is educational psychology, and it's about helping other people learn the best way they can learn. I was also really fascinated once I was a teacher to try to help other teachers in ways I think was really important. And I moved into what's called holistic education. Holistic education, it involves the whole body and the mind, the body, and the heart. But it also involves something that you do so well, Coach. It involves movement. It involves thinking. It involves music. It involves connecting with other people. And that's what holistic education is.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I think we try to do a little bit of that. Now that you say what it is, I think that's kind of a little bit where we're going with PE.
Right.
Speaking of PE, when you were in those various elementary schools, what do you remember about PE?
During my younger
Yes,
years,
during your younger years.
um, I remember it being fun. And if you keep in mind, if you remember, going to so many different elementary schools, I had different PE coaches. You know, the kids are very fortunate to have you as a PE coach. I had to get to know different, not just coaches every year, but different teachers every year, as well as different students. So what I remember is really having to show a lot of courage, Coach. To be honest with you, courage with the fact that I was the new kid every year at different school. I had to try things that maybe I didn't think I was great at just yet. And sometimes we get a little intimidated when we're not good or great at something, but that's the best place to start because you can only go up from there. So courage is I learned a lot of courage in my younger years, just trying to connect with other people, meeting new friends, but really trying new things that had never I never thought I'd be good at, or I was maybe a little intimidated. So the more that I tried these things, and not everything was a great success, but the more I tried them, the more I opened myself up to things that got me a lot further in a long-term success. Meaning, I was courageous enough to take a step towards something else. I was courageous enough to go to college. I was courageous enough to ask, um, you know, people that I worked with for things. I was courageous just in myself, and that shared a lot. And a lot of that came from my childhood development um, in my school years, and definitely in PE when I was trying new sports and athletics.
Sure, it's difficult to be the new kid at PE. That's one of the reasons we focused on that as our theme for
Yeah,
last year. And I know you've watched our performance of Focus on Achievement Night last year,
yeah.
and you might remember the solo that the boy did to Whatever It Takes.
Yeah.
He was a new kid last year. It was his
Oh,
first
wow.
year at the school, and as you can imagine, and your experience with yourself, and now knowing and working with other schools, you can imagine that just as easily you can see someone with that much talent just close into themselves because of the way they're received at a new school. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. Everyone has something great about them. Everyone has a strength. Sometimes it doesn't show in a school environment, but you can actually show it in a school environment. If you're strong at writing, allow yourself to write more. If you're strong at singing or acting or dancing or sports, take that time to really shine. Yet at the same time, allow yourself to do something else. Now, that's what holistic education is about. So if you're a great writer, you allow that to come out in something else, maybe in a science class, or you could be the one helping another friend learn how to write. And that's the value of anything that you're strong at. You can help someone else to learn a little bit more, just as Coach does for all you kids. Um, and if you're not great at something, if you're still really passionate about it, there are things that I'm still learning that I love to do, but I'm still learning how to really understand and get better at them. And that, again, is tied into that lifelong learning that I can't emphasize enough. It's so important to understand. You can learn out of school all the time, too. While you guys are learning from home, think about how much we're all learning right now as a whole world. We're all learning together. So you have that chance at all times to learn and really even help someone else too.
I love the attitude that here you are at the highest level of education there is, yet as a doctor, yet your personal attitude is, I'm just beginning to learn. And how many people
Yeah.
do we see take the opposite? They really think they know it all already, and that's just refreshing to hear you talk this way.
Oh, and even more so, right now, my wife and I are doing a little gardening, and there's a learning curve on that. So we're learning different recipes to cook at home. There's such a great opportunity to learn right now. We're even learning how to connect in a different way. All of you guys at home, I'm sure you miss seeing your friends a lot, but there are ways for you guys to learn to connect with them. Maybe you could write them a letter and send it by mail. How fun would that be to send some of your friends a letter? And how fun would it be for you guys to get a letter in the mail? I think that would be really, really great because we can always connect and we can always continue to learn how to connect.
That's so cool. What a great idea. Well, I want to ask you. So you have some experience with schools, and you've been around a little bit, and you've seen our kids perform with the music. What is your impression of
Yeah.
this?
Oh, well, first off, music is a unified outlet for. If you think about every country, every culture, every house, people are listening to music. So it might be different styles or different types of music, but everyone listens to music. Every single person enjoys music, and that's a great way to unite people. What's really great about what you guys are doing is if all of you kids, if you think about it, you're a huge community. Now think about your neighborhood. If you think about if you're in third grade or fourth grade or fifth grade, if you're in one of those grades and you're in a class, that might be a smaller community, but you're part of a bigger community, just like the fourth grade is part of the elementary, the fifth grade is part of the elementary, and you may have other fifth grade classes. When you guys are able to do an event like you guys did to music, what you're doing is you're unifying a whole community together, and you're allowing everyone to be expressing in a way that is best to them. I watched that video a couple times, and you guys were all so great. What's amazing about that is you were all just expressing yourself. It wasn't for a grade. It wasn't to try to do something to impress your mom and dad. It was just something for movement and fun. And you guys were able to do that to music, and also a way to connect a community, which is your elementary school.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I really appreciate that feedback, Mr. Harris. I spent a lot of time talking with the kids and explaining to them that what we do is unique,
Yeah.
and I greatly appreciate your feedback there. Let me ask you this: what should PE be about? What should PE be about in the year 2020 and going forward? What should we be
Well,
doing with it?
it should continue to move toward that holistic education that I was talking about. So a lot of times we think of movement, or excuse me, PE as just movement, but movement is also expression. And what I want to share with the kids, and I work with kids all of your age too. What I want to share with them is, we hear sometimes stress and anxiety, and during this time, stress and anxiety can happen. But the thing about this, I want you all to remember this very much. Stress is just stored energy that hasn't been moved. So if you're able to move, whether that's dancing or exercising, stretching, what you're doing is you're moving energy through your body, and you're helping release that. So if any time you feel a little overwhelmed, or there's a lot going on in your life, allow yourself to find an expression. And movement is a great expression. Art can be a great expression. Talking, writing can be a great expression. But the way PE is going to go is it's going to continue to connect different areas of your school, just like it's connecting music with Coach doing the great things he's doing with you all. Continue to connect the ways that you find expression and find that release that works just for you.
Awesome. You're speaking with some future teachers right now, some future leaders. What would you say to them?
Uh, Again, it's a lifelong learning process. You never want to stop learning. If you stop learning, you're not growing. You always want to grow, just like you guys are all growing physically. You want to continue to grow your mind and continue to grow your heart. You guys have a great opportunity here. Teaching is, everyone is a teacher. Just not everyone gets the opportunity to get that title or get paid to do it. Every single person on this planet is a teacher. And you guys are all teachers to your friends. I'm sure there's been many times where you've taught your friends something really neat, a cool trick or a funny joke or something. But teaching is, it's what families do. It's what cultures hand down. It's what we all are able to do. And I hope you guys think about being teachers. We need teachers. We love teachers. And again, you're already a teacher, guys. I want you all to think of that. You're all already teachers. It just might be really neat to be one in a school, and be able to call yourself a teacher. That's a really neat opportunity. And then I want you also to think about how Coach Harte cares so much about you guys, and think about all the teachers that really do care about you. Think about some of your teachers that have really helped you through a lot of different ways, and who have really connected with you in a special way. And just think about how awesome that could be, and how much you guys could do that as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Harris. I really appreciate the beautiful words that you've said in this interview. I'm humbled by the things that you say. I love this idea that everybody's a teacher, and if you don't mind, I'm going to borrow that and start
Of
using it,
course.
because what I always say to them, I'll address the kids, and I'll address them like this. I'll say, future teachers of America, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? That's not really true. They're already teachers. They're not
Yeah.
future teachers. And I'm going to amend that. I'm going to start.
Okay.
I'm going to start amending that based on what you've said. So the one thing I forgot to mention to you kids is Harris has founded something called radschools.org, and radschools.org is interested in the way that we are working with Ryan Ellis in England. And we were going to have that class with the English kids, but
Right.
that got set aside by us getting knocked out of school. So when we come back to school, we'll be looking forward to doing that. Harris Ryan Ellis, the PE Umbrella podcast host, was one of the interview guests that the kids have seen
Oh,
and
okay.
listened to. So they've gotten to know Ryan, and we've gotten to know them. And so I know that you're interested in this learning that we're doing across the ocean. Can you talk about that and talk about rad schools a little bit?
Sure. I'll talk first about learning. I've had the opportunity to teach in another country for a little while, and one of the great things is schools may be different in different countries, but learning's happening everywhere. Like I mentioned, so a lot of uh, a lot of other countries are fascinated about the idea of connecting community to learning, and that's where our country's starting to go to. So I think we have the great fortune right now to continue to connect with other countries, to continue to connect with other types of learning. Rad Schools is an organization that my colleague and I, my friend and I, started. And what it's about is about learning on the styles that meet where the students are at. So again, we're trying to get to allowing the students to be the teachers, telling us what works for them, and that's the future of education. Is going to understand where the students are always the teachers. And Coach, I'm sure you can um, can agree with this, that all you third, fourth, and fifth graders, I'm sure that you guys teach Coach just as much as he teaches you,
100%.
because I've been there. I've been a coach. I've been a teacher, and I still am. And every day, some of the students teach me something new, and that's kind of what Rad Schools is doing. We're trying to get to the students to understand better what works for them instead of us as adults telling them what works. We're trying to find that middle point, and that's what Rad Schools is about.
That's so cool.
And we like to have fun doing sports and music and art. That's what it's about too.
So do we. So do we.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll keep you guys posted on our development with our friends in England and other things that we do. And maybe we'll just have this be not the one and only time that we meet, but the first time of
Yeah.
many that we meet. And
Sounds good.
really thank you for taking the time to talk to the kids today.
Yeah.
And these are great words. So until we meet again, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Take care.